Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, Your Excellency, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, former President of the Republic of Ghana, Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, Justice Gertrude Tokenu, the Chief Imam, His Eminence Sheikh Osman Shaributu, the Chairman of the National Peace Council, Dr. Ernest Edu-Jenfi. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I thank God for making it possible for us to witness this historic moment in our country's history. And here I'm referring to the signing of the Peace Pact by presidential candidates of the 2024 presidential election. Indeed, this is the day the Lord has made, and we rejoice and we are glad in it. The signing of the Peace Pact marks an important building block in our nation's development. The very act of signing the Peace Pact is symbolic in that it signals to all citizens and supporters of our presidential candidates that they are indeed committed to ensuring that Ghana remains intact before, during, and after the election. It also symbolizes that our presidential candidates have put Ghana first, before their own interests and aspirations. Hence, my assertion at the start of my presentation that this is a historic moment in Ghana's development. As a commission, I'm pleased to note that we have walked the talk of peace. Mindful of the fact that attaining peaceful electoral outcomes will depend on our actions, we have right from the start of our electoral processes consciously operated and carried out our activities and conducted ourselves in a manner that would ensure peace before, during, and after the election. In doing so, we have embraced three essential ingredients, which in our view contribute to peaceful processes and elections, namely transparency, responsiveness, and inclusiveness. And we have applied these elements in all our activities to date. And so right from the start of our electoral calendar until now, we have imbibed these three essential ingredients into everything that we do. Please permit me to mention and share a few examples. Registration of voters. Before the commencement of the voters' registration exercise, we at the Commission provided extensive information about the exercise to all our stakeholders through our radio and TV advertisements. Indeed, we carried out extensive ads in the English language, 10 major outlets, on all TV and radio stations across the country. This inclusive approach saw eligible voters take their turn to register at all our registration centers throughout the country. We also ensured, in the spirit of inclusiveness, that our centers were accessible to all our stakeholders. I'm happy to note that our youth, old, and persons who had not previously registered, as well as persons with disabilities, availed themselves at our various registration centers. In the spirit of transparency and accountability, we provided our political party agents with the start of day reports and the end of day reports. These reports gave them a good account of the number of persons who had been registered across the country on every given day, and allowed it to confirm it with their own statistics they had documented. Additionally, we provided regular infographics on registration data to the citizenry. We shared this on our various platforms, i.e. our website, our Facebook and Instagram pages, on a regular basis, making it possible for interested citizens to know with near precision the number of persons registered in the country on any given day. It allowed them to drill down to indicators including the number of male-female voters who had registered across the country on any given day. It allowed them to have information on the number of persons with disabilities, number of first-time voters, among others. Throughout the entire process, we held several press conferences and engaged actively with the citizens. We took their concerns on board and provided solutions to a number of the concerns that came up. This level of transparency and openness helped to reduce the suspicions that usually characterize the voters' registration exercise. We applied the same ingredients of transparency, responsiveness, and inclusiveness as part of our exhibition, our voters' exhibition exercise. In addition to exhibiting the physical copies of the provisional voters register in the 40,000 plus polling stations, we added a second layer of verification by exhibiting the provisional voters register online at a fee of 50 pesos per verification. In the spirit of responsiveness, when citizens raised concerns about the fee, we immediately went to work and waived the 50 pesos fee initially charged and made it possible for citizens to verify their details at no cost. This arrangement equally reduced the burdens of citizens and enabled them to verify their details in the comfort of their home. And in all of this, we received the concerns of the citizenry and were timely in responding to their concerns. Again, in the spirit of transparency, we also promptly addressed concerns raised on the provisional voters register by a section of our society. When it was impossible or difficult to resolve those concerns, we called an IPAC meeting to discuss the concerns with all the political parties registered in Ghana. We opened up the IPAC meeting to the public and enabled them to follow the discussions on the provisional voters register. The presentation from our IT team and the ensuing discussions helped to lower the tensions and suspicions around the register and restored its credibility. By discussing the concerns in an open and transparent manner, and by carrying the citizens along as a result of the live coverage of the proceedings, tensions and suspicions around the provisional voters register were eliminated and the peace of our nation was restored. We applied again the same elements of transparency, responsiveness, and inclusion in our nomination and balloting processes. As many of you will attest to, we opened up all these processes to the general public with the help of our media partners. The opening up of these processes to the citizenry helped to eliminate the usual stories around the fixing of ballots. And we are confident that citizens are now well informed as to how the ballot positions are determined. We are aware that citizens now know that it is the political party agents themselves who pick the order in which they will appear on the ballot paper and not the Electoral Commission. The story is no different in the case of the printing of ballot papers and the results declaration forms. For the first time in our history, we took our media partners on a tour to the printing houses as part of our efforts to keep the citizens well informed. This approach brought to the fore the engagement and the involvement of the political parties in the printing process and demonstrated the accountability and transparency mechanisms we have built into our printing cycle. We educated the citizenry on the ballot statistics that we provide to the political parties. And we also informed them about the serialization process and the fact that the Commission provides serial numbers of all ballots to the political parties as part of the printing process. This openness and information shared enabled citizens to have a first-hand view of the fact that every single ballot that goes out into the field is accounted for, in the sense that political parties are aware of the serial numbers and they are able to track and account for it. The ballot statistics also provided to the political parties also enables them to know the number of ballots that each polling station should have. And this builds confidence into our processes and leads to the assurance that the Commission cannot add a single ballot or take away a single ballot to the ballots provided at the various polling centers. Ladies and gentlemen, in the same spirit of accountability and transparency, when in the course of printing our ballots, it was discovered that we had issues with the serialization of ballot papers from the Ahafo and the Volta regions. We promptly informed our key stakeholders, i.e. the political parties and the citizenry, and involved them in the destruction of the affected ballot papers. With the help of our media partners, we captured the entire processes leading to the destruction of the faulty ballots by burning, and brought this information to the doorstep of citizens. Today, the destruction certificates signed by the political party agents, the security agents, and the Electoral Commission staff are available on all our platforms, our websites, and our social media pages for all to verify. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our application of the 3 ingredients in all our operations has contributed significantly to reducing the tensions and building confidence around the Electoral Commission's processes. As a Commission, I assure you that we will continue to apply these ingredients of transparency, responsiveness, and inclusiveness in all our activities through to the election day and beyond. On behalf of the Electoral Commission of Ghana, I pledge that my team and I will continue to conduct our activities in a way and manner that will ensure peace before, during, and long after the 2024 election. The processes we will employ on election day and in the days aftermath are robust, transparent, and inclusive. The results we will declare will reflect the will of the citizens as expressed at the polls. It is a well-known fact that elections are won or lost at the polling stations. It is at the polling stations that voters vote. It is at the polling stations that the votes are counted. It is at the polling stations that the results are documented on the pink sheets and signed by all the agents of the presidential candidates. And it is at the polling stations that the outcomes of the presidential election are announced. These are the results that will be collated at the constituency, regional, and national collation centers. And it will be in the full view of the agents of the political parties who will go on to sign the various results declaration sheets. Indeed, these are the results that we at the Electoral Commission will declare, and no other results. We therefore entreat our distinguished presidential candidates to accept the outcomes of the elections. That is the will of the people, which we will declare. At the end of the day, when the results are declared by the Electoral Commission of Ghana, Ghana should remain standing as a beacon of democracy in Africa. We each have a role to play to ensure this happens. God being our helper, we at the Electoral Commission of Ghana will do everything in our power to abide by the oath that we made to God and to the people of Ghana when we were sworn into office in 2018. May God bless his beloved nation, Ghana, and make her great and strong. Thank you.